Opolis these days with the evil Professor Brain Drain on the loose. To make matters worse, Ordinary Boy and his friends are thrown into the middle of a baffling mystery.
Shut up.
Forget the regular
Shut up.
superheroes
Shut
in a
up.
city where everyone is extraordinary.
Shut up.
This just might be a
Shut
job for
up.
Ordinary Boy.
Shut
And then I'll
up.
read the back cover,
Shut
Curious George.
up.
Look
Be
who's here. It's
quiet.
that funny monkey, Curious George. He has so many adventures, it's hard to keep up with him. But wait till you read about it. It's his biggest adventure of all.
Read Curious George.
Okay.
Yo. When we do the
This
heist,
is
everyone,
George. He lived with his friend and man with the yellow
use
hat. He's a good
the
little
strength
monkey, but he was
heist
always
heavy
curious.
combat outfit.
George was alone this morning,
It gives
looking
you
at a
extra
picture
like
when the doorbell
built-in
rang.
armor.
It was the mailman. Here is a letter for
Yeah,
you, he said.
it's
Put it on
pretty
your
awesome.
friend's desk. He'll read it to you when he comes home. George
Do
was
some
serious.
daily objectives.
It was not often that somebody wrote him. Too bad he could not read the
I
letter, but
already
maybe
did
he could
mine.
write one
It's pretty
himself.
awesome.
In the top drawer of the desk there was paper, and ink, and a fountain pen. George sat down on the floor and began to write, but the pen was dry. It needed ink. George would have to fill it. He got funnel from the kitchen and started pouring ink. But instead of going into the pen, the ink spilled all over and made a big blue puddle on the floor. It was an awful mess. Quickly,
That
George
sucks.
got the blotter from the desk, but that was no help. The puddle grew bigger all the time. George had to think of something else. Why, soap and water, that's what you clean up with. From this kitchen shelf, he got a big box of soap powder and poured all the powder over the ink. Then the puddle and the garden hose through the window, opened the tap and sprayed the water on the powder. Bubbles began to form, and then some lather, and more lather, and more lather, and more lather. In no time, the whole room was full of lather. So full indeed that George had to escape in a hurry. When he was safely out of the house, he first turned off the tap, but what's next? How could he get rid of all the lather before his friend came home? George sat down in the grass and thought for a long time. Finally, he had an idea. He would get a big shovel and shovel the lather out of the window. But where was the lather? Well, George had been outside thinking it had all turned into water. Now the room looked like a lake, and the furniture like islands.
Why
in
was
it. The shovel
Curious
was no
George
use.
like a puddle like
A pump
that,
was
dude?
what George needed. He needed to get the water out, and he knew just where to find one. He had seen a portable pump at the farm down the road. The farmer was away working the fields. Nobody noticed George when he got the pump out of the shed. It was heavy. He would need to pull it all the way back to the house. Maybe he could tie the goat to the pump and make her pull it. But as George was about to slip the loop over the goat's head, he was hurtled through the air and landed near a pen full of pigs. The biggest pig was standing near the gate. What if George opened the gate just enough to let him out? A big pig could easily pull a small pump. Carefully, George lifted the latch. But before he knew it, all the pigs burst out of the pen, grunting and squealing, and trying to get away as
Is
fast as
it
they
an
could.
open lobby? Or a
George
private
was
lobby?
delighted. He had never seen
I have to
anything
ride a
like
roller
it.
coaster
For the
and go
moment, all
scuba
his
diving.
troubles were forgotten.
Is
But
it a
now the
private
pigs
lobby?
were all gone, and
I
not a
don't
single
know.
one was left to help him with the pump.
I'm just in a lobby.
Luckily,
Oh.
there were cows grazing
But Zach's
nearby.
in his own
Cows were
lobby.
gentle and strong. It would mean
Alright.
nothing to a cow to pull a pump for him. This time, George was right. The cow did not
Did
mind
Grant
being
start
tied to
doing
the
this as
pump.
soon as I joined?
She even let him
No.
climb on the back, and off they went. George was glad. Now he would soon be home, pump out the room, and everything would be
It's
alright.
raining Curious George.
Meanwhile,
I
the farmer
figured.
and his son had heard the squealing of the pigs. They rushed home from the fields, and now they had their hands full catching all the pigs. Not until the last pig was safely back in the pen did they have time to look around. And what did they see? A little stupid monkey riding on their cow, making off with their pump. The chase was on. George and the cow
chase?
were ahead at first,
The
but the pump
police.
was slowing them down. The farmers were getting closer and closer. Now they had almost caught up with him, but where was George? Little Monkey was hiding in his shirt. The farmers had run past it, but on their way home they had to come back over the same road.
Wow, what a little
George did not
monkey,
feel
bro.
safe in his hiding place. Just then a truck came rattling down the road. George jumped aboard. Monkeys are good at jumping. That's racist. And was gone before the farmers had a chance to see it. The truck drove to a part of town that George had never seen before. The ghetto. At last it stopped in front of a large
That's
building.
not actually there. You're just making
That
up.
is there.
It
It's
was
true.
the museum.
Oh,
George
making
did
up
not
shit.
know what a
Looking at the wiki
museum
right now.
was. He was curious. While the
That
guard was
sounds
busy
so
reading his
fake.
paper and smoking some weed, George slipped inside.
Dude, shut up.
He was
Shut the fuck up.
It's
He
real.
walked up the steps and into a room full of all sorts of animals. At first, George was scared, but then he noticed that they did not move. They were not alive. They were stuffed animals, but put into the museum so that everybody could get a good look at them. In the next room, George saw something so enormous it took his breath away. It was a dinosaur. George was not scared this time. He knew that it was not real. He looked at the dinosaur and then at the baby dinosaur, and then he saw a palm tree full of nuts. George liked nuts. Suddenly he felt very hungry. He had missed lunch that day. He would climb up and just then he heard footsteps. He had to hide again, but where?
Where did he hide?
A family came in to take a look at the dinosaur. They paid no attention to the little monkey who was standing there. The monkey did not move. He stood so still he thought he was just another stuffed animal. George was so glad when they were gone. Now he could stuff his mouth full of nuts. He climbed up the dinosaur's neck and started to pull, but the nuts would not come off. George did not know why they were not real either. He pulled hard. Yeah?
No.
Yeah? Okay.
What?
Bruh. And the tree began to sway. Crash. Down came the tree on the dinosaur's head. Dang, the dinosaur got clobbered. The guards came rushing in from all sides, and underneath the fallen dinosaur they found a little stupid monkey. They pulled him out of there.
What?
Professor Wiseman was the director of the museum. Professor Wiseman was terribly angry. Lock that stupid naughty monkey up right away, he said. Take him back to the zoo. He must have run away. George was carried off in a cage. He felt so ashamed, he almost wished he were dead. Suddenly the door opened. George, somebody shouted. It was his friend, a man with a yellow hat. It seems you got yourself into a lot of trouble, you stupid monkey. But maybe this letter here will get you out of it. It's from Professor Wiseman. He needs your help for an experiment. I found it on my desk at home, but I couldn't find you anywhere, so I came over here to talk to the professor. This is what the letter said. Dear George, a small spaceship has been built, just the size of a monkey. I've never met you, but I hear that you are a bright little monkey who can do all sorts of things. That's just what we need. We want you to do something that only a monkey can do. You gotta fly to space in a monkey ship. When we flash you a signal, you will have to open the monkey ship door and bail out with
What
the
the
help of emergency
fuck are
monkey
you
rockets.
talking about,
We
man?
hope that you're willing and that your friend will permit you to go. Gratefully yours, Professor
Like,
Wiseman,
literally,
Director
what
of
am
the
I
Science
listening
Museum. So you are
Here,
George the
he's
monkey,
almost
Professor
done with the
Wiseman
book,
said.
dude.
If I had only known, of course everything will
47
be forgiven
pages.
if you are willing to go.
Yeah,
They
but
got
it's a
the
kid's
smallest
book,
size
remember?
space
So
suit,
it's-
just enough
so
size for a
stupid.
monkey, and other things he needed for the monkey flight. When they
it's a
helped him
picture
put them
book, so
on
it's
and
funny.
showed him how to use them, when everything was ready, a truck drove up with a special monkey television. They all got on and were off to the launching site. They checked all the controls on the monkey spaceship, especially the lever that opened the monkey door. George tried it too. The great moment had come. George waved goodbye and went aboard the monkey ship. The door was closed. Professor Wiseman began to count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He pressed a button and the monkey ship rose into the air, slowly first, and then faster and faster, and higher, until they could no longer see the monkey ship in the sky. But on the screen they saw George clearly all the time. Now the moment had come for George to bail out of the monkey ship. Professor Wiseman flashed a signal. They watched the screen. George did not move. Why didn't he pull the monkey lever? In a few seconds it would be too late. The monkey ship would be lost in outer space, with George in it.
No.
They waited anxiously. At last, George began to move, slowly, as if in a daze. He was groping for the lever. Would he reach it in time? There.
Shut
He had
the
grabbed
fuck up.
The door opened. Hooray.
Oh my God.
George was on his way. Out of the blue, an open parachute came floating down to earth. The truck raced over to the spot where George had landed. What a welcome for George. Professor Wiseman hung a
Dude,
big
you're
gold
almost
medal
done
around
with
his
the
little
book, dude.
monkey
We're gonna
neck.
have a test on
Because
this.
he
You're
said you
gonna
were the
fail.
first living monkey
You're not
to
paying
come
attention.
back to Earth from a space flight. And on the medal it said, to George, the first space monkey. Then a newspaper man took his picture and everybody shouted and cheered, even the farmer and his son and a kind woman from next door. who had worked for hours to get the water out of the room. I'm proud of you, little monkey, said the man with the yellow hat. I guess the whole world is proud of you today. It was the happiest day in George's life. D.A.
Monkey, monkey.
That wasn't 47 pages. Good joke.
Yay!
That was 47 pages. And now it's time for Mr. Sting.